Hopefully you guys can see me okay. Hello there. Welcome to the first episode of Robservations. That's right. I had to get an idea what I was going to call my vlogs. They're Robservations. Anyway, some of you may have seen my post. You may not have. You might have seen what I was going to do this past weekend. Maybe you didn't, but I'll be showing a few things anyway. So Thursday, my friends John and Beth were coming all the way from Toledo to pick me up because it was Beth's birthday. And she wanted a small little intimate group to go out and eat. And then the next night, John, Beth, and I were going up to Michigan to go see the comedian Brad Williams and J.D. Ball, and I believe his name is Wes Walker. But more on that in a minute. Oh, and while I talk, I also have to have my fancy diet pop. Us diabetics need diet pop or water, anything not sugary. I'm not trying to get any endorsements. Ooh, excuse me. That was unintended. So they come pick me up, and then we pick up our friends Heather and Rick and their new roommate Eric, who I hadn't met. I could talk all I want about Eric, but I just met him. Didn't really get a chance to know him because we were all in a big group, intimate setting. So we picked them up because Rick and Heather are having problems with their car, and while we were on a quick stop for Eric to pick up some smokes, John just kept asking Heather and Rick, what was wrong with the car overheating? Did they try this? Did they do that? Could it be this? And I like Rick. He's a cool guy. But he was back behind me. I did that. Car works fine. I did that too. Nothing wrong with this. Nothing wrong with that. Well, then how come your car is overheating? You need to obviously get it fixed again. And just quit. You guys will figure it out. The more or less when we keep going. So after that, we're on our way up. Back into Toledo. Through Toledo to go just across the state lines, just across to Lambertville, Michigan, to this nice small Italian restaurant called Sidelines. And while we're up there, Heather has to get into it a lot with a lot of things. First thing she said to me in the van was, "Robin, are you excited for Saturday?" And I'm trying to remember what Saturday was, because Saturday was coming back home for me and maybe seeing my friend Mike coming over to visit and watching stuff on YouTube and just chilling, hanging out, having a good time. And she goes, "Don't you remember? It starts with R&R." Again, I was still puzzled. It must have been my blonde hair. I said, "What's RR?" "The Royal Rumble." I said, "Oh. No, I'm going to probably be watching it Sunday morning because I had already planned on Sunday morning to watch the replay. Because there's other people in the house. I'm minding my P's and Q's around the house. When I get to it, I get to it. Oh. Well, if we were able to, we'd pick you up in our car and we'd all have pizza and stuff." And I'm like, "No, that's okay, but my friend Mikey will probably come over." Which, sure enough, he did, but more on that later. So, also on the ride up, Heather's birthday is coming up, and she's describing to John and Beth what type of cake she wants them to make for her birthday. And they're both like, "Well, we make enough sacrifices, we'll still eat the cakes that we make you and stuff like that, but not everyone eats chocolate, remember? Rick doesn't eat chocolate cake, but he eats brownies. Well, just like we don't prefer this type of cake, that type of cake, and so on and so forth. So we do make sacrifices for you. Well, then she's like, well, I guess I don't want a cake then. Fine enough. You know what type of cake I like on my birthday? Any type of cake. I have my favorite cakes, but just any type of cake would be. Happy birthday, la-di-da. Oh, hold on. What do we got? Yep. Come on in, Macker. Come on in, hurry up. You gotta hurry up. You gotta hurry up. You gotta hurry up, come on. All right. So, now where were I? So then we hit the restaurant. Really nice, small Italian atmosphere. But they were a little, well, I would call them a little pricey. $14, $15 plates. And, well, because we had all these plans, John and Beth, through their graciousness, told me that they would pay for my dinner. But I was getting one of their dinners anyway, so it kind of equaled out. Hi, Mac. I gotta get the door. All right. So then on this menu, there was an item up there called the Boo. It was a sampler of their spaghetti and meatballs, lasagna, and chicken with tomato and Parmesan cheese and some type of sauce. But that was $20. And then I'm one where I guess maybe a little frugal with my money sometimes. Plus my friends were paying for me. And I knew that they would have to get Heather and Rick, like they do lots of times. And so I of course I said, Beth, do you mind if I try the Boo? She goes, oh yeah, you're welcome. And immediately right after that, oh, I think I'm gonna have that too, comes right out of Heather's mouth. And I'm thinking, here we go again. We gotta have what everybody else wants. Because I think John, Beth and I had ordered the boot, so Heather had to have the boot. Now, mind you, they're already paying for me and for Heather and Rick. That's not a whole, not, that's a lot. I can get the door. You're in. You're in. Don't you hit the tripod. So, needless to say, sidelines in Lambertville, Michigan. If you're ever in the area, try them. That was so good. And then on the way back, we went back to John and Beth's house to open up, because they got Heather got gifts for Beth for her birthday. So we're all opening up them, and Beth made a banana nut cake, which is really good. And some ice cream. Beth's opening up the gifts, and everyone's joking, having a good time. Everyone's like on their phones. Well, this is so-and-so's theme song. This is your theme song. Just joking around. John gets a clip of Elmira from Tiny Toons. There, squirrely, squirrely. Oh, I'm going to love you and hug you and never let you go. And guess who got pissed at that? Heather. She was like, I'm ready to go home. So we had to go back out in the cold. And she hurried up to get into the van and made sure she got the seat she wants in that car. Because she couldn't get it because they picked me up first. Sorry, Robin, I just fell on my elbow and my knee hurts and I got a boo-boos and they hurt. And I'm thinking, but I really didn't say it. I just said, it's all right. I can walk to the other side of the car. So then we drove them back to the trailer and got them back home. And then I went and stayed with John and Beth for a couple of nights because we were going to go see Brad Williams the next day and chilled and relaxed and for the next day. And well, we were going up to Royal Oak, Michigan, and near there was a Wahlburgers, which we were going to go to. So when we were making the plans for the next day, just to double check on everything, the company, stupid Wahlberg brothers, they decided to close that restaurant down without telling anybody. So we had to find a new place to go to. Ironically enough, we decided to go to this sports bar just down the street from John and Beth. Ironically called Sideliners. And we had, it was just the three of us. John ordered pulled pork sandwich. I had a Reuben. Beth had fish sandwich, but they messed her order up, which was real good in the end. Plus I got an appetizer for the three of us. So they messed Beth's order up. So they took that off, and then there was a birthday coupon in Beth's name. They took that off too. So it was a big win for me. And then, next to us was just a couple of ladies having a little late lunch power meeting, whatever. And then we were getting ready to leave, and the one goes, she must be a Karen. I swear. Said, did one of you guys have the corned beef? And I'm like, yeah, I did. She goes, well, mine was bad. And I said, mine was fine. I said, I've had other Reubens before. I've had one from a Jewish deli up in Cleveland. I said, I compare it just to that. She didn't like that. And I'm like, oh, well, okay. Fine, whatever. And we get up and leave to, we have to be up to Royal Oak, Michigan for the comedy show. And along the way, we went over the state line, and John turned to the station called WRIF. A pretty cool rock station, but they do love their Kid Rock. We heard Kid Rock songs on the way up, on the way back. Different ones, mind you, and we were just jamming in the car because the station was really good. It puts Toledo's WIOT to shame. It really does. So then we finally end up Royal Oak. But the show's about 20 minutes. We get there about 20, 30 minutes before the show starts. And this is my first time ever in a comedy club. So there we are. We give them our names. Well, Beth does because she bought the tickets. They hand us the tickets. We go wait, and they seat us. And I'm like, well, I wonder how far away from the stage we are. We weren't that far away. We were probably about 15, 20 feet away at the most. So we had a good view. Then the show starts, and first comedian gets up there, and he's funny. Second comedian gets up there, J.B. Wall, and he's a writer for Kevin Hart. Dude is hilarious. You need to check him out. And of course, before the show starts, you know, the club has to make all their announcements, you know. No recording, no pictures. Like, fuck! I wanted to get a few minutes of Brad and put it up on for you guys. That didn't happen, and then there's a 2-drink minimum, and I'm a non-alcoholic. Or I try to be as best as I can. I haven't had a drink since 2016. And then Brad gets up there and does his skit and does his jokes, and of course he's hilarious. And of course they were all shilling stuff, and they were all, I'm like, they all announced that they were selling stuff, and you can meet them after the show. Quit coming in here then. You're wasting people's time. And then Brad gets on there and he goes, well, I'll be selling stuff too out there, and you can take pictures and buy stuff. It's not for me. The money doesn't go to me. He goes, it all goes to the Asian baby dwarf, meaning his daughter, which was fine, no big deal. It's a nice little charity, I guess you could say. So then the show's over. We stand in line and stand in line and stand in line, waiting for the line to keep moving. Because they told everyone, don't be too long. And meanwhile, we're in line. We got it. Oh, thank you. That reminds me. Good thing I remembered it. So Brad starts into his act. You know you're in Michigan when you do this. You're right here. Then he gets into a joke about you people hate the people down underneath you. You know if you immediately go OH, they gotta go. And John and I both went, I-O! And he pointed right at us. I loved it. He's like, see? Right there. Go Ohio people right there. The place booed us. And that is fine. Well, that just made my night because he's like pointed right at us. And then, like I said, after the show was over, we were waiting in line. I think we were like one of the last ones to meet him, which is fine, no big deal. Because we sort of got a few extra moments with him. So I got to get my pictures with Wes and JB and thank them for being funny. Oh, and then before that, while we were still waiting in line, I think maybe the owner of the comedy club was talking to us because we traveled all the way from Ohio. Because he's like, you guys really from Ohio? Yeah. Yeah, we are. Well, thank you for coming all this way. And I'm thinking while I'm looking, dude, you have millions of pictures on your wall of you with comedians and famous people like Mick Foley. On this side of the wall, the side next to it, long hallway with pictures lined up, and you're just thankful that we came? I guess I lost gratitude and happiness all at the same time because I'm like, well, that's actually pretty fucking cool. And then, of course, we get to Brad. Which was pretty awesome because he made that contact with the Ohio joke. There's my Ohio people. They're like, thank you for coming. It was a funny show, and I bought his bumper sticker. He signed it for me, and then I proceeded to tell him 2 stories. One, because he brought up the OHIO. Years ago, I had an old English sheepdog that we had shown a few times, and he was his own dog, loved TV. He could walk without a leash right next to you, wouldn't chase after anything. Had his TV. He liked Phineas and Ferb and football and Harry Potter. In fact, there was one time that I went to a comic book convention and one of the voice actresses from Phineas and Ferb was there. And I paid her $10 to call and talk to Berkshire on the phone. It was awkward and weird. I loved it. The dog loved it when I got home. You could only have seen the smile on his face. But I told Brad, I said, we used to have an old English sheepdog. He goes, oh, I'm sorry you lost it. I said, I miss him too. But somewhere along the way, I said, he learned OHIO. He goes, really? I said, yeah. You start a few times, OH. I said, he would growl, I-O. And I said, and then after several times, then the bark was OHIO. He's like, that's awesome. Fist bump. Then I said, then I have to tell you this story about my brother. He goes, oh. Is it a good one? I said, oh yeah, it was good. And I proceeded to tell him, years ago, me and my brother, our friends Tony and Mike, just hanging out, and we decided just take a drive and go to the nearest adult store just to look around and have some fun and all that. Well, just to hang out, cool, look around, see all the different novelty stuff and DVDs and magazines and all that stuff. Well, there's these 3 ladies that came in, and they're looking for gift ideas for Bob. I don't know who Bob is, but I'm thinking, Bob's a pretty lucky guy. He's got 3 older ladies trying to find him something special for his birthday. And they're giggling and chuckling at everything. You know how women are in sex shops. Adult shops. And then out of nowhere, don't plague me, YouTube. Please don't plague me for this. One of them yells out, does Bob like midget porn? And my brother was in the magazines. I was kind of near the ladies, about 15 feet away. He was about 25, 30 feet away. And you could see 50 Shades of Red on that kid, on my brother. And immediately, I told Brad, and Brad's already laughing at this. So what happened? I said my brother was ready to leave the store. He went up to us and said, I'm ready to leave. And we said, well, we're not ready. We yelled by the car. So we were like, fuck, we gotta go. And Brad's laughing, and he's like, that is so awesome. He's like laughing, and he's thanking me for him. So then we come back. We're on the drive back, and of course, we're making jokes back and forth and talking. And if you knew my friend Heather, like we know her, she was probably steamed at us at that point because we didn't include her. John and Beth just wanted to do something with me. And I'll get to that here in a minute. And let's see, what else? But Beth made it a habit to make sure that Heather knew where all we were doing and that stuff. Which, bless Beth's heart. She tries so hard to put up with her. Let's see. because Heather and Rick and Eric, now Eric, are living in trailers that John's parents own. I don't know if they're paying them rent free, if they're paying John anything for it or not. I don't really get into it because I don't like people's finances. You know, it's just the type of person I am. So we knew Heather was teen. And then, let's see. We get back to the state. Back to the States. We get back to Ohio. And John and Beth take me to this nice little restaurant that just opened up called Night Owl. They're only open from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. or 10 p.m. They open up late and stay open throughout the night. And then when the other restaurants open up, they're closed. Which was actually pretty good because I had a cheeseburger. A double bacon cheeseburger. Which was really good. I went to pay and John and Beth both said, nope. This one was unexpected. This one's on us. Like, okay. And then we get back to the house for the night and go to bed, and it's not till 11 Saturday morning and I'm up. And I'm like, because they asked me what time I wanted to leave, and I said about 11, 12-ish. And here I was already running late to running back for home. And then on top of that, we're like, well, we're going to go to the original pancake house up in Toledo and eat. Do you mind? Like, no, that's fine. And again, they paid. But Beth wanted to make sure I had enough money for her. Because she knew I wanted to make sure I had enough for my animals. Which I had enough money for till payday. Well, I'm thinking of it. Now that I remember it. Here you go. I'll show it up to you guys right here. No, that's not what I wanted. There it is. Picture me with Brad. So anyway, it was my first time at this original pancake house. And it was a little bit more expensive like what I thought, but maybe my prices are skewed just a little bit from trying to go to nice, cheap places to eat. So, I owe John and Beth for original pancake house. But I had a chocolate chip waffle, which was that big on the plate. I am not kidding, and about that thick. That was really good. But I did do one thing at the pancake house. I did help them with the tip this time. John's like, well, you're not paying for all of it. Here's some money back. Okay. So we're on the way back to Fremont, tiny little Fremont. Everyone gets thirsty, and we go through a little speed trap town called Woodville where they have McDonald's. So everyone's thirsty, so I decided, well, I have this money left over. On top of what I'm already bringing home. So I decided to pay for the drinks, and John and Beth are like, didn't have to do that. I said, I know. So now here we are. It's lengthy. I'm home. A couple hours later, my buddy Mikey comes over. We hang out. And immediately he goes, Heather cause any trouble at the comedy club? And I'm like, nope. She ain't get to go along. Now, had she gone along and tagged along, her and Rick would be ordering drinks non-stop. Because she'd want to try all these different $11, $12, $13, $14, $15 mixed drinks that John and Beth would have to fund. Which I didn't do that at the club either. I didn't make them fund for my 2 pops. So for the whole weekend, it was hearing how well behaved Beth's dogs are with me. Like, they didn't go and attack me like they do somebody other people. And Beth was talking about we're getting off cheaper with Robin than we are with Heather and Rick. Because Heather and Rick, when they go out with them and John and Beth put the bill, they'll order more food than what they can eat in one sitting and take home. Now, wouldn't you call that using somebody? Plus also needing people to pay for your animal feed because you threw your phone at the TV, but you won't tell John or Beth why you're so short on money for. And the list goes on and on and on. Let's see. Oh yeah. Heather's into pro wrestling like we all are. But she has 50 million cats. No, she doesn't have 50 million cats. 4 or 5 cats. She had to buy 2 small $400 mixed dogs because they were bred from a pro wrestler who's charging outrageous fees. And if I knew who he was, I would tell him so. They're mixed dogs. You don't need to charge $400 for Pomeranian, Chihuahua, pugs, or whatever the fuck they are. Plus she's got a guinea pig. Plus she wants a fish. And I think she wants a bird. And I think she wants a rabbit. All in a trailer that she's living in. That's someone else's trailer. And she has the balls to call it her house. So, yeah, you can exactly see where we're at with Heather. Hi, Kit Kat. Come here, let everyone see you. Say hi, Kit Kat. Hi. So now you exactly know why Beth and John are getting a little fed up with Heather and Rick. Because they do all this stuff, and Beth kept complimenting me all weekend. Well, look how well the dogs are behaved around them. The girls, and our bill is even cheaper with Robin, and I'm being praised. I'm like, I'm a good boy. Pat me. So that's where we're at. Where are we at on time here? Oh, wow. I guess we'll cut this Robservation. This is one a little longer than I wanted.